evening, everyone. Welcome to this week's review. Well, today's review. I'm your host, Purple Midnight 8, joined once more, as ever, all that good stuff
By
by
Morgan.
by
No,
Morgan. No, we do this. We do this every time. Be like by Morgan. No,
no.
of course, joined by Amelia. When you say hi, Amelia.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello there.
So it's my turn this week. I had a few things lined up. Couldn't decide between them. However, when I saw this film on Netflix, I decided that hey, it took my attention straight away, and I thought I thought it'd be a good one to review. And considering it's number one on Netflix, that doesn't hurt. In the UK, I may add. I don't know about anywhere else because obviously we're not from anywhere else. Today we're looking at Bull. Came out 2 years ago. I don't think it's a Netflix original, as far as I'm aware. However, you can watch it on Netflix at the moment.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was like some sort of. Bearing in mind we have two actors from EastEnders, I wouldn't be surprised if it was done by BBC.
I don't know. It doesn't say it has. Hang on, I've got to go on here. I think this is a bit too violent for BBC. No, it's not up here. BBC's not here. It's definitely a violent film, I must say. It's not a Netflix original. It got a theatrical release, but didn't do very good at all. I don't know if it had very, very limited release. However, it probably got more exposure by being on Netflix and Apple TV, I think that said. It's definitely a good film. I definitely enjoyed watching it. It was violent and bloody, but I wasn't
Wouldn't
surprised.
have it on DVD.
Wouldn't have it on DVD, of course. That's her way of knowing if she likes it or not. So, we'll get right into it without any further ado. Spoilers ahead, of course. If you want to watch this first, watch it on Netflix as it's on there, as I say, or Apple TV. However, Netflix is obviously, for now, the most popular one before it probably dies in a couple of months due to the amount of people who keep unsubscribing from it. So this film is written and directed by Paul Andrew Matthews. I'm not familiar with any of his work, which usually is what happens. Yeah, I genuinely don't know any of the things he's done. I don't know if that's because they're not very big or I just don't know. So, yeah, as I said, it's available on Netflix, so you can go and give that a watch. If you want to watch it before this, I'd definitely recommend it, just because there's a lot of twists and turns. It may get a bit confusing because there's a lot of flashbacks in this film that take place throughout, so I've done my best to sort of like annotate where it is, but obviously it's difficult when a lot of this film takes place in the past. So as I say, last warning for spoilers and to watch it yourself. We're now going to get into the nitty gritty, which there's plenty of. There's a lot of. I don't know what the budget was for this, but there is a lot of fucking like practical gore in this film.
Oh, and obviously because it's British, there is some gun use, but obviously because Britain don't have guns,
We do.
there's a
Yeah.
lot of knife crime.
The movie was made for 500 grand and it was shot over 18 days. That is, considering how much nighttime stuff there is, that is impressive. Yeah. Yeah,
But
500
if
grand.
you watch someone gets stabby, then
If you want to watch a lot of people have different parts of their bodies chopped off by a fucking lunatic, then yeah, this film's perfect. So, we'll get into it. In the cold opening, which is pretty often in these films, of course, we see three men bury something which is on fire in a remote field. There's going to be spoilers throughout, so we'll get right into spoilers now. So again, last chance. This is, of course, our main character, Bull, who we later found out somehow came back from the dead in order to get his revenge. And it's believed that he made some sort of deal with the devil in order to come back from the dead, hence his black eyes at the end of the film. He actually does die here. He is technically our first kill. He's our first death, not kill, because he doesn't die till later in the film. But he is are first on screen. Well, it's not even on screen, dead. They just bury him and walk off. So after the opening credits, a man, this is Bull, played by Neil Maskell. He is famous for Utopia, a crazy British TV series that is just as twisted as this when it comes to its like developments of the plot. He plays Arby in that. He is also an unhinged mass murderer, not brought back from the dead. However, he is a psychopath, just as he is in this, but a bit more controlled. If you've seen Utopia, if you haven't seen Utopia, don't watch the American remake. Watch the British version. He is waiting for someone who arrives in a car to pick him up. The driver has bought him a revolver to perform a hit on someone. So this is his, what I believe is the beginning of his. I don't know if this is a flashback or if this is from his actual. No, it is a flashback because at the end we see he has the black eyes during the scene in reality. So yeah, he's bought him a gun in order to perform a hit. And when they arrive at their destination, Bull gets out and proceeds to shoot a man in a one-take shot, and they flee the scene. He gets out, in one continuous shot, he walks up to this mechanic and just shoots him dead, not caring about a man who was there as a witness, who proceeds to run away, of course. Bull goes to a fairground, and there he relives some memories of him and his son Aidan, played by Henry Charles. I don't know if he's been in much. I must also preface that this film has a lot of actors that haven't been in a lot of movies. He's been in EastEnders.
Is that our third one?
This is it. Literally had EastEnders as his Thomas the Tank Engine. There you go. I'm a little lost. Ricky Mitchell.
This is our third character.
There are a lot of
guys, from
EastEnders actors. If you're from the UK, it's oh my god, look at him there. Fair Terry wasn't this. God, he's a lot older, obviously. Before someone else took over. Yeah, there are a lot of English actors, mainly known for EastEnders, which is what we would call it here is a soap. It's very basic TV drama. It's not a sitcom, as the Americans would call it. It's just mindless, middle-aged, old people TV. It's very. I don't like it. I can't stand it. So yeah, he has some memories of it with flashes of a caravan being burned in between them. Our man's house, Bull has him taped to a chair when his wife, not Bull's wife, the man whose name is Ollie's wife, Cheryl, played by Kelly Shirley, our second EastEnders actress. I can't remember her name, even though we had a look.
We had Mel Owen, and then we had oh god,
I can't remember who she was. Carly
in EastEnders.
Yeah, lots of EastEnders people. We didn't look at everything everyone's been in, so don't be too surprised if we have loads of people who were in it. Because it's not even. I don't even think it's set.
I feel like they just went to EastEnders and be like, alright, who have you had in the past?
Who are some people who have been in the show who won't need too much money to be in our film? So yeah, his wife Cheryl comes downstairs and recognises Bull. Everyone he kills is associated with his old like mob, like the mafia essentially. So Cheryl comes in and recognises Bull, and when she doesn't give the location of some people, he stabs the man in the neck, Ollie, and he bleeds out pretty quickly. He then proceeds to torture Cheryl with his knife before killing her off screen. There's quite a few off screen deaths. Despite the gore in this film, no one dies gorily. Nobody is like disemboweled or beheaded. It's a lot of knife killing, a few shotgun kills, but there's no one who has like their head bashed in and it goes everywhere. Well, this guy has, yeah, but that didn't kill him. He just gets shot later on. So yeah. Gary, who's played by Kevin Harvey, he is probably. I don't think he's EastEnders. He's a very northern man. He was known for. Oh, he was known for The Sandman in 2022. I remember seeing that film. I think that was another Netflix film. I can't remember. Well, it's not showing anything here, so He's also known for the Children of the Corn sequel, Children of the Corn Runaway. He meets with Sharon, played by Tamsin Althwaite. Even though they're English, I still struggle to pronounce their names sometimes, and I do not care. I think she is also EastEnders. Her, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, she's definitely
Yeah. She was
Mel.
Mel. She was
Mel,
Mel in
yeah.
EastEnders. She was also married to Tom Ellis. He is famous for Miranda for me, the TV show. But also, he was in Lucifer, I think it was called. Yeah, that TV show where he played the devil. And he was in The
Oh
Flash too.
really?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
yeah, that's her ex-husband.
I never knew that.
Yeah, obviously Miranda and Merlin. He's quite a big-ish British actor, but we're not going to talk about him in case we have him come up somewhere else down the line on the show. You never know. I doubt it though. He seems more like a TV actor than a movie star. Who has some affiliation with Bull and his son. I put this here, but in reality, that is his mother-in-law, Bull's mother-in-law, possibly. I don't know. Norm, who is played by David Heyman, he's a pretty big actor as far as I know. Big British actor. God, there's nothing I know him from. I would say that and then not know him from anything. He's been in quite a few films, but none that are really mainstream enough to mention. As far if he was, I apologise, but there's nothing I really know him from that's here. He was in the TV series Still Game, of which is a bunch of like old Scottish men. So yeah, Norm comes home and Gary tells him of the deaths from the night before. Norm orders him to leave, and Sharon yells at him to revenge Cheryl, her sister. Ah, okay. No, I still don't get it. I still don't get the familiar, like the tie between them lot. It does get a bit easier once people start dying and once some more like dialogue happens. Bull has more flashes of the caravan and Norm being outside with other gang members. Bull goes to a group of teenagers and asks Marco's son where he is, Marco being another of the gang members. The boy tells Marco that night he is played by Jason Milligan, who I recognise from somewhere, and it bothered me the entire time he was on screen. Jason Milligan, is from weirdly nothing I do know him from. I must get him mixed up or something. I swear I knew him from somewhere, and it bothers me that I haven't. No, genuinely, there's nothing I know him from. He looks like someone else who I recognise. There you go. So, and also his mother Diane, who is played by Laura McAlpine. Couldn't find her on the cast until I actually had to Google the actress. She is known for some stuff. She's a director. Oh, okay. That's what she's credited as. Murdered by My Boyfriend. What a great name for a thing. Oh, she did a film that had the female Doctor Who in it. I recognise her. Rachel. Oh,
Oh,
it's a short with Jodie Whittaker
I know
and
who.
Jason Milligan. Funny enough. God, everyone keeps coming. In one episode, we've had more people come full circle than the entire channel.
I was gonna say, I know
Do you want to explain?
it's based on true events about domestic abuse where the boyfriend killed the girlfriend, and I think she tried to get away, but she couldn't, and she got killed in the end.
Oh,
Because I remember Mum talking about it, and it was such a big story at the time. It was all over the press about domestic violence.
wow!
There's a little summary
As if
for you.
this film wasn't dark enough. Are talking about domestic abuse and murder in real life
Because it's based on a true story.
because it's based on a true story. I don't know if it picked that entirely up. So yeah, he tells them about it, which causes him to panic and call Norm. Marco leaves to confront Bull, and Bull tells him to tell him what happened with his son, and he will kill him if he doesn't say, which he does do off screen. As I was trying to decipher as he was, well, during some dialogue later on. He tells her to call Norm. Oh, hang on. I didn't even add that. He calls Diane on Marco's phone. It's a good thing he had his phone unlocked and didn't need a password or anything, isn't it? He tells her to call Norm, but she goes outside, finding Marco with a knife rammed into his mouth, right down to the handle. A flashback in slow motion happens, showing a much happier time between the characters at a barbecue. A woman named Gemma, played by Lois Brabin. She's probably in EastEnders, let's be real. Oh, film director. She was known for what's his fucking Vinnie Jones. She was in a film with Vinnie Jones, who's not even. No, he is in the cast. In a film called Red Devil. I don't know. As I said at the top, there are a lot of cast members who aren't in a lot. So I'm doing my best, but I still want to shout them out because this film has like become quite big now that it's on Netflix. I don't care about the Chicago Bulls in 2021. I want Bull 2021. She gets irritated at Aiden and Bull for spraying people with a hose. Because she's a fucking miserable cow. Norm accuses him of cheating, and when Bull insults her, Norm defends her, revealing she is Bull's wife and Norm's daughter. Later, the gang go to a meat plant. I don't know. It wasn't a slaughterhouse because nothing was being killed, but it was where a bunch of meat was being sliced up. Where Bull, brandishing a sawn-off shotgun, watches Norm and Marco assault. I think he was the boss. Bull walks into the room and hands Marco the gun. This is where the gore begins, ladies and gentlemen. He slices the man's fingers off on his right hand to get him to sign something. He does not gently do it. He slams this. As I said to you, it looked like a machete and a Bowie knife come together as one. Just slices it off in one chop, which is. Another thing is that he does a lot of bone cutting with a knife really easily. Which in reality, that's not just gonna do that. That's a sharp fucking knife.
Yeah, that was a bit.
Yeah. So Norm threatens him with burning the building down as well as his home with his family inside. Nice little bit of foreshadowing to later on, or to the beginning. Threatens the worker, I should say, not Bull. Afterwards, oh hang on. I was like, afterwards, Bull questions Bull. Norm. I think he questions Norm. Afterwards, Bull questions Norm to where Gary is, as Norm, Marco, and another man, who I will name as Clive now, as we'll find out later on, share some concerned looks in the mirror. Bull makes his way into Gemma's, who is now cheating on him with Gary, to see Aiden. And the next morning, he finds Gemma unconscious in bed from taking heroin. I thought she died, I won't lie, but I was wrong. She does die later on, though, a bit more brutally. In the present, Norm meets with Mike and RJ Chabra. I apologise. I don't even know if that's how you would pronounce his name. Go on, EastEnders. This is the EastEnders episode, guys. Is he in it? Is he in it? Is he in it? Is he in it? He's not.
Basil Brush, though.
He was in the Basil Brush show. God, what a fucking time. He was known for the Tom and Jerry movie as well. Fucking hell.
That was pretty big.
Well, it was. He's a corrupt policeman. He's there to discuss Bull's possible return. Norm then heads to Marge's, Elizabeth Council. I believe that's how you pronounce her name, who does not have a very flattering Google picture and looks like Hillary Clinton if she was electrocuted. She is known for quite a few things. A movie series called Intrigo. Miss Marple. God, fucking hell. Stuff like that. A 1967 version of Les Mis. Quite a few bits and bobs. She is Bull's mother, and when Norman orders his men to leave, much to Gary's Displeasure, Norm tortures her, all off screen, thankfully. Um, at least they didn't torture some poor old woman who was just trying to act, or some bad stunt double. Sometimes later, Norm emerges, clearly saddened by the ordeal, as Bull watches from the nearby bushes. He's not hiding in the bushes, he's literally stood next to them. He's literally like the Homer Simpson backing into the hedges, which apparently they don't see somehow. He enters the house and finds Marge barely alive and sees she is badly bleeding from a wound. So he decides to smother her out of mercy. In another flashback, Bull meets with Norm and the other man from earlier, again, Clive. He is played by David Nellis. I keep double checking, but I know I'm just going to go through and find, like, nothing. Bull tells him that he wants custody of Aiden and doesn't care about what she's been doing, particularly, like, the heroin and cheating on him. Before leaving for a laugh, he smashes a glass, intimidating Clive. Clive's a coward, and I have no idea how he's still part of that gang. At home that night, Marco and Clive arrive to tell Bull that Norm wishes to speak with him at the fair. The fair is like a big central point of this film. It's in a lot, weirdly. He goes on the Ferris wheel with Norm, who is brandishing a shotgun. Once again, it's a little sword off. I think that's about the best that you can get in England if you have a license. You can't get like an AR-15 or something, like a machine gun, like in America. We won't go into that. They get off after and force him into the boot of a car, with Clive apologising to him as he does so. In the present, Bull stops Clive as he is walking his kids home from school and tells them to get in his car to go to the fair again. Clive does his best to stay calm for his kids and begs Bull not to harm them, and Bull orders him to get Gary to go to the fair. At the fair, he lets Clive and his family go in return for luring Gary to the fair. There is this scene where they're on the dodgems, and the entire time, Bull is just staring daggers and in unbroken eye contact with Clive, who's like pissing his pants.
He played the psycho really well, though.
Like, Neil in this is fucking unhinged like he is in Utopia. He does a good job of playing fucking lunatics. Bull takes Gary hostage at the Walters, and as they spin incredibly fast on the ride, Gary tells him where Gemma is, and Bull slashes his thigh open before getting off, leaving Gary to bleed out, and then leaving his corpse to be found by onlookers. This is fully unhinged. He is maniacally laughing as they are spinning around unbelievably fast. Like, he is just scream laughing. Bull then after goes to a club where he assaults a man named Trendy. That's the only name I can find him credited under. He is played by Jake Davies. Go on, EastEnders? No? A TV series called Cyberbully.
Oh, here's a good game.
The Phantom of
Gets
the
some
Open.
alcohol and drink every time we say the word.
I can't say he was in Black Mirror Bandersnatch, and he was in Artemis Fowl, which apparently was terrible. So there you go. He actually is in some stuff I know. Yeah, EastEnders, take a shot every time we say that. Hang on, I've got to go back off its fucking page. I went down a rabbit hole. Oh, excuse me. He's a drug dealer who, after basically breaking his hand, gets to ring his boss. And they go to the man's house under the guise of buying more drugs off him. There they meet Dave, who is played by Jay Simpson, who reminded me of Eric Idle in a weird way. He's an actor known for Pistol, Small Axe, and Chernobyl. There you go, I know him from Chernobyl. That said Utopia. I saw the yellow. I know what Utopia looks like. Oh no, it wasn't Utopia. Damn it. Ignore me. He was tweaking off some mysterious drink and makes some interesting remarks about children, about playing football with children, but they said they don't run. He said they don't run from you, which does make him sound like a bit of a interesting man. In return for showing him money, all Bull asks is a little sip of his drink. And when Dave goes to pass it to him, Bull proceeds to just slice off his fucking forearm immediately with his magic, like, Halloween knife. After cauterizing his stump on the stove, which as I had to explain to you, they burned the wound shut, he waits for Dave to wake up from the shock. Bull lets Strandy leave with some of Dave's drugs as what's basically hush money. Dave awakens and gives up Gemma's location, so Bull brings him along, leaving him unconscious in the back of his car as he goes in. And he finds Gemma asleep on the sofa, or the couch, whatever. Bull scares her by just squatting near her face and staring at her until she wakes up. Yeah, she screams the fucking house down. Back in the past, Norm and the others drag Bull into a caravan, where we had this before, where Gemma arrives and attacks Bull until Marco pulls her away. In the present, Bull orders Gemma to call Norm and tells him to come and get Bull, which she does before he grabs Tape. Tape is like his favourite little gadget. Back in the caravan, Norm orders his men to set fire to the caravan with Bull still inside, and they all watch from a safe distance as it goes up in flames. Norm arrives in the present, ordering a gang member, whose name I couldn't find, I apologise, to shoot and kill Dave, believing him to be Bull, because Bull managed to get Gemma to say that he was asleep in the back of his car, which of course in reality was Dave's like unconscious body, which is now full of buckshot. Norm goes in to find Bull waiting for him, who stabs him in the leg, causing him to shoot Gemma. Doesn't kill her yet. Bull proceeds to torture Norm he literally like gets his knife and stabs him in the kneecap, which is fucked. And back in the flashback of the caravan, Aiden runs out of the car as Bull emerges from the burning caravan, calling out to Aiden as he burns. Clive begs for Norm to shoot Bull, which he does as Aiden watches from the inside of the car. This, of course, as we find out in the end, is his actual death. He didn't come back magically. Gemma refuses to give up Aiden's location, so he starts to smother Norm until she gives up where he is. He stays on top of Norm until he stops struggling and dies, before he grabs the shotgun and kills Gemma as well. He then leaves and finds Aiden under a bridge, having become homeless, and he takes him with him to a church. And they stay there overnight until the vicar arrives the next day, where she finds Aiden and Bull on the altar. She's afraid of Bull, who we now see his eyes have gone black, and he begs for Aiden to receive salvation for his actions before passing him some money from Dave's. We see that it was Bull who was buried in the beginning, and his eyes were always black throughout the story. He returns to the field where he was buried after he died, and the movie ends. And that was Bull. Definitely a spooky little ending there, to say the least. What were your thoughts, Mrs. Wouldn't Get It on DVD?
Well, I didn't hate it, and as I say, I wouldn't get it on DVD because it's easy, but the whole coming back type of thing with revenge is quite clever.
Yeah.
I quite like that.
Yeah. Even if it was thrown in a bit at the end. It'd be nice if we had a bit of like information leading up to it to sort of suggest it. But overall, I genuinely really enjoyed it. I loved particularly Neil Maskell's performance. As always, he is psychotic. As I say, like in Utopia, he is insane. Overall, yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's good to do a film we enjoy after doing. Well, we did Ted last time. That wasn't too bad. It's a very, as I said in that film, in that review, it felt a lot like Family Guy the movie. Before that, we did it. What did we do before that? What did I do last? I actually can't remember. It wasn't Resident Evil, I know that. No, because you did It Follows. What the fuck? Renfield. Yeah, Renfield bombed. I did enjoy Renfield. It's just a shame that review didn't do too great. So yeah, genuinely very enjoyable film. Best kill, worst kill. When you're ready.
Um, I think I agree with you on the one where on the on the ride,
Yeah,
and then
we agree on
probably
Gary for best kill. Despite everything, including the practical fire stunt for um, it definitely. I think it ties with Bull's actual death, just because Bull with a practical fire stunt, like basically burning to death before just being shot. Um, but Gary, I think, just takes it, even though it's not too gory. He does have his thigh sliced open, which is disgusting. And just the sheer like just the performance by Neil Maskell and just the like I don't know what you want to call it. The like just for style points really of just the spinning as he's just like laughing his head off as he bleeds out as Gary bleeds out next to him. Worst kill, um, I think can go to Cheryl and well, right near the beginning
hmm,
where she just gets killed off screen. She just has the usual of what happens in these films sometimes, where it's just head wound dead on the floor. Doesn't really specify what it is. So yeah, as we say, that was Bull. Once more, you can go watch it on Netflix. I've been your host once more, Purple Midnight 8, joined by Amelia, the Obsidian Nook Petal ASMR. You can find
thank you.
her links in the description in the link tree. Uh, But for now, that is it from us today, and we will see you later in the week for Amelia's film. Bye bye.